What's happening, guys? Steve here, Cars with Steve, and today we are going to be taking a look at the 2021 Ford Bronco. Now this is the Badlands edition of the vehicle, but look at how beautiful this thing looks. Absolutely stunning. Now, a couple things to point out. Unfortunately, I cannot take this one out for a test drive because it is a pre-production model vehicle. But having said that, I will be going through the majority of the features of this thing. I can't go through the startup though, but I'm going to be pointing out quite a few things for you. So the reason why you want to watch the video is because you're not sure, should I get the Bronco Sport as an option, or should I be waiting for the full-size Bronco instead? But guys, let's dive right into it and figure out what the 2021 Bronco has to offer. Alright, so taking a look underneath the hood of this thing, we do have two engine choices that are available on the Bronco Sport. First one's going to be a 1.5 liter EcoBoost, so a turboed engine, 181 horsepower, 190 foot-pounds of torque. The Bronco Badlands, the one that we're looking at right now, has got a 2 liter EcoBoost engine instead. It's got 250 horsepower and 280 foot-pounds of torque. And look at how nice and beautiful, how clean it is under here. Now, from a technology perspective, one thing to point out is that the Bronco Sport does have the ability for that front-facing camera as well. Really useful if you're the type of person to do a lot of off-roading. There are the available tow hooks, so front tow hooks both sides. And if we take a peek underneath, let's flip you for a second. Now, a couple things to note about the Bronco Sport when it comes to a technology perspective. So we do have our backup camera. We've got the reverse sensing system, so we've got our sensors in the back there. And we've also got our blind spot indicator. So lets us know if anybody's entered the blind spot on either side of the vehicle. As we hop on the inside, we also do have our lane keeping system as well. So the lane keeping system, that's the one that could potentially pull us into our lane or give us a steering wheel shake if we start to veer over without signaling. Now, when it comes to gas in this thing, it is going to be regular 87 octane fuel. So it's literally capless system insert, you're good to go. Now, a little Easter egg, as you can see there. So we do have estimated 1966, and then we've got the older school Bronco models available there. No OJ edition. And we do have the trailer tow package on this specific one as well. Now, a couple things to note about the trailer tow package in the Bronco. It's only going to be able to tow 2,000 pounds in the 1.5 liter engine and 2,200 pounds when you get into the 2 liter turbo instead. Now, one thing that's really nice about what they've done with the Bronco, so we do have the ability to either open up just the glass or we can open up the full door. So as you can see there, the glass, all we're going to do is press that and look. Got the ability to open up the glass separately there, but absolutely beautiful. Shut that, and we're going to hit the door. And let's bring that door up. Absolutely beautiful look in the back here. Now, as we can see, so this is a rubberized tray. The tray isn't going to be rubberized standard. It is available as an option. Typically, we're going to get this. So the typical cloth mats there, these are going to be available as an option there for the front, for the driver passenger seats. But this is the type of material that we would typically see in this back protector. As we look underneath, we do have a full-size spare tire as well. Really important, especially if you're doing off-roading. We've got the jack stand and everything just underneath that mini spare. Along the side, we've got a little bit of storage space with our spigot in case we ever need to use a jerry can to fill up the tank. All right. Next up along the side, so one really nice thing is now we've got a different type of interior lighting choice that's available in this thing. So by pressing this button and looking up overhead, so as you can see, we do have adjustable lighting in the back there. So really useful camping if you need a little bit of extra light as you go. We can turn that on or off. Along the other side, we've got a built-in inverter in the back as well, so 400-watt inverter. We've got our traditional cigarette lighter adapter, and one really nice thing, look at this. We've got a bottle opener as well. Really useful if you're camping and you forgot one offhand. Beautiful back seats here. I absolutely love the look of this cashew interior. Looks great. So a couple things to point out along the back. As you can see, we do have some cup holders in the back there. And as we start to move down along the side, so rear passengers do have the ability to either open or close the air conditioning or the heat that's coming in the back. And we've also got a 400-watt adapter built into this specific Bronco. Very beautiful. So as you can see there, we do have rubberized flooring in this Bronco, but really useful if this thing's going to get very dirty. So you can just spray the whole vehicle out. From there along the back, we also do have our zipper pouches. Now the seats themselves are a 60-40 split for the driver and the passenger side, so what we're going to do is click that. We're just going to grab and drop down. All right, now one thing to point out as we get up overhead, so as you can see here, these roof racks, they are going to be rated to be able to carry 2 adults. And the reason why is because there will be an accessory which gives you a roof rack tent. So should have step downs along the side there as well. So if you are camping, you've got the ability now to camp on the top of the tent, on top of the vehicle, which is incredible.
All right, next up, let's jump into the online configurator. Unfortunately, I can't get it out of the front seat because of COVID protocols, so can't be doing button presses and things like that. So I'm going to explain the front side of it by going into the online configurator. So let's take a peek. First thing to point out is that we do have our Sync 3 system. It gives you support for Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. There is the option to get built-in factory navigation. It's available in the Ford Copilot 360 package. As we start to move down, we've got our volume rocker as well as our tuning source. And from there, if the vehicle is equipped with that 180-degree camera, so the front-facing camera as well, by pressing this button, that's going to give us the ability to see what's in front of us. Starting to move down, we've got a little storage space off to the left. It is push-button start. Now, Ford vehicles, for the most part, are all equipped with onboard modems, which means that you'd be able to remote start using your cell phone, which is a fantastic feature. And as we start to move down, we've got some basic climate control settings, dual zone climate control, heated front seats, as well as our heated steering wheel. As we start to move down a little bit, we've got a couple of USB ports, as well as our traditional cigarette lighter adapter. And then in the Badlands edition of the vehicle, there also is the wireless charging pad. As we start to move down, we've got our rotary dial in order to be able to change gears. So we've got our park, reverse, neutral, drive, and then our M for our manual mode, which in the manual mode, it's going to give you better control of the paddle shifters. So these buttons, so the plus and the minus along the top of the steering wheel, so you can control what gear you're in as you go. Starting to move down, we've got our electronic parking brake and then our auto hold setting. And from there, we've also got a couple other buttons, and then there's a rotary dial, which we just can't make out, which is going to let us select different drive modes. Along the steering wheel, so along the left-hand side there, a couple things to point out. The vehicle has the ability to get adaptive cruise control. The adaptive cruise control is essentially that set and forget it cruise control. You set it at $120 on the highway. If the car in front of you slows down, yours will automatically brake. If you get out of the way, or they get out of the way, it'll pick you back up to speed automatically. So really, really great feature. Along the right-hand side of the steering wheel, we're going to have our phone answering button. So our answer, hang up, we can change between radio stations. As we start to move up a little bit, we've got our voice command button, which is going to let us either navigate, we can change radio stations, we can make phone calls by pressing that button, and then we've also got our typical menu button, which is going to give us better control over what's showing up on that screen. Now, there are a couple things that are going to be standard in the actual display there. That's going to be the tachometer and the speedometer. So those things are going to be stuck inside of the Bronco Sport. As we start to look along the driver's door, we've got our unlock and our lock buttons, and we've also got our window control buttons there. So very, very straightforward. Now, this specific color that we're looking at in the Bronco Sport, this is only available when you get the Badlands package. Badlands package does give you quite a few extras though, so it may be a package worth considering if you're a fan of this brown interior, because you're not going to be able to get the Badlands package with the ebony. But as we start to take a look, so it gives you a few things, wireless charging pad as I pointed out, but up overhead it also gives us a little bit of a sunroof. So it's nothing to write home about. It's not going to be a twin panel sunroof like you'd see in a lot of Ford vehicles, a little bit closer to the one that you'd see in the EcoSport. Looking up above us there, as you can see, we've got our sunglasses holder. If the vehicle is equipped with a sunroof, we'd have the ability to control the shade as well as opening up the roof. And then we've got our just cabin light buttons there also. Next up, let's jump into the online configurator, take a look at the available trims and the color choices. Starting off in the base of the base, it is the Bronco Sport base, available $32,000 in Canada versus $26,000 in the US. As we start to get into the next one, so the Big Bend edition, we're going to get a few more features and a few more things that are available inside of this one. Next trim level up, this is where we get into the reverse sensing system and a few other things standard. It is the Outer Banks edition. And finally, we've got the Badlands edition, which was the vehicle that I looked at during this video. So $40,000 in Canada versus $32,000 MSRP in the States. So again, a little bit of a price difference between the two. Now let's take a dive in and look at the color choices available, because some colors are only going to be available in certain trim levels. Starting off with our Alto Blue, which it looks kind of like a teal green almost. It's a very unique one. Area 51, same thing. It's like a blue-gray type of a look. From there, we've got our Cactus Grey, which again, a little bit of an off-white type of a color. And then into our carbonized gray, which in previous generations of Ford vehicles was the magnetic paint color. Cyber orange almost looks like the twisted orange that's available inside of the Mustang. And then the iconic silver, which is available across all trim levels. From there, we've got the Kodiak brown. So interesting that they chose to go back to this brown from the original Bronco. And then we've got our flat Oxford white. Okay, from there we've got our rapid red paint, which again is a premium paint color, but I think it looks really sharp, especially if you tint those windows out. And then we've got our shadow black, which again is one of those paints that's going to be available on every trim level. So guys, that was a look at the available trims as well as the color choices for the 2021 Bronco Sport. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure that you like the video and please consider subscribing to the channel because I'm doing all sorts of giveaways coming up over the course of the next couple months. And I hope you learned a thing or two. If you have any questions, drop it down in the comments section below. But until I see you guys next time, make sure you stay safe.